So you know what this is. This is Trust the Process, Season 3. My name is Kyle Damji, and I am here with the multimedia creative producer and designer, Kristoff Edwards. How's it going, man?
Hello. I'm honored to be on the show. Thank you so much for having me on, Mr. Kyle.
Of course. It's an honor to have you on. We have some great questions for you today, and I'm very excited. So, to start it off, I'm curious, where did your journey as a creative start, and in what area of media?
Honestly, it started back in high school when I was young. Honestly, like from a start, I've always wanted to become an animator, which is actually pretty funny. And so I followed up through that little bit throughout my years of high school. Like I took art classes, and then I took like basically media class, comtech based, and then there was like another class I used to take. Oh, graphic design class too, actually. I know what I wanted to do, but at the same time, I was a little, kind of lost at the same time. So when I was applying for courses and stuff, I applied for OCAD, Ryerson in York. And I applied for a film program in York. I applied for an art program in OCAD, and I applied for media in Ryerson. And I didn't actually bother with the art one in OCAD because I realized that I needed like a stronger portfolio, which I didn't have. So I was pretty much telling myself, I was like, so I guess I wasn't really lenient on art, like sketching, illustrating, and all that stuff. So I noticed that I shifted creatively wise to media and graphic design. And I noticed that I also like to branch out. So like doing the same thing over and over again wasn't really my thing. So I kind of just like to move around a bit here and there. I'll come back here, touch up a few things there and stuff like that. So just to basically a short summary, I actually made it to Ryerson instead. So, and that's how I met my man's Kyle. So yeah, I made it to Ryerson RTA New Media. So basically the program that specializes in the arts technology put together basically. And and that's how I got more into just media and like filming, or not necessarily filming, but like graphic design and basically everything. Like I've done coding, I've done website designing, I've done fabrication, 3D printing, laser. I love those things. It's amazing. So it brought my eyes open. I was like, yo, what if I can make something out of that? So
I know you mentioned the Nicole Jaskot music video. Did I pronounce that okay?
Yeah. That was perfect.
Yeah, I really want to touch on that because I saw that and I was like, this is freaking awesome. Like the way you put that together. So how did you go about getting that producer role? What made you interested in the role? And then how did it go from there?
It's actually pretty cool where during the pandemic, my boy Hung, aka Crooked Abstract, check him out. He's a photographer. He put me on this creative group in Discord actually, and it's called the Juan Verda Creatives. So and then from there, one day I was put on a Zoom call meeting, and it was literally like a big Zoom call of like 20 creatives, including myself and Hung. And that's when I met people like Juan, Shaps, Verda, Ben, Kyle, like bro, like I can't name them all, but like they're all such dope people. And then the person that like actually brought together was one of them was Shaps, actually, Nicole Shaps. Huge shout out to her because she was the one that like organized most of all this stuff too. We basically connected from there, and then throughout the entire lockdown pandemic, we just kept going on Discord and going on video calls and chats and connected and stuff like that, and making friendships, and we all became like a family. Basically, we became like this big creative family that you don't really see a lot in Toronto. So and then I organized a Discord and made sure like we had like a bunch of like different like channels for specific things like tips and tricks, call outs, general stuff like that. And then just like fast forward months later, we have a channel that's specifically for gigs and opportunities.
Sweet.
And Nicole Shaps, my homegirl, she put it in the chat saying, hey, I'm looking for someone to produce a small project of us. And I hit her up and I was like, hey, I'm actually interested in this because I want to try something different and do music related stuff outside of just doing graphics and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, sure. And then we talked more, connected, and then we met up, and it was just literally just a small team of like us three indie artists. So we had Nicole Shaps, we had myself, and then we had the director, Kyle. And we also had the cinematographer too, as well, and Kylie. And from there, we just talked more. And then I started to, and then actually Shap, she does producing herself. And then she taught me the ropes of like how to get more into producing and stuff. So obviously to take things in like a very business professional manner, basically it's just like, you know, you got to deal with the financial budgeting, keep in touch with the artists of all times, start casting, finding people that you want to bring on the set, location, dates, etc. And even though it was a lot of talking, it was a lot of like hitting up people, finding the models, finding who are set designers, etc. It was still satisfying. I actually loved it. I loved coming up to people and say, hey, would you like to be a part of this really dope project? And then from there on, it went from a team of 4 to 5 to 8 to 9 to 10, 15. Like it kept going and going. Hey. And this is just like, you know, this is just a project that we all just wanted to do. It was really cool. So, and then our homegirl, the star artist of the show, Nicole Jaskot, she had a song that she wanted to like promote in a music video form by like October. And I was like, oh, cool. So we can do that. So we started the project in August, started knocking things down in September, did the process from there on, and then we actually started shooting a few days after. And then the editing process went over on to October. So, and then after that whole thing, like the day was amazing, by the way. We absolutely loved it. Had a lovely crew, and shot the whole thing in a day and stuff. And
wow,
you learned a lot of stuff in that one day too, and everyone on the cast just loved the day. Like it was actually perfect. And yeah, like none of this would have happened without anyone. Like everyone had a huge part in everything, like even PAs and BTS, like it was all amazing. And huge shout out to Nicole Shaps, huge shout out to Nicole Jaskot, huge shout out to everyone, Kyle, Boham, everyone, bro. I like, one thing I always say as a creative is to always pay attention to your surroundings and environment and always adapt from it. So that's something that I love to do. I love to adapt and take inspiration and evolve with it, you know? And then the people around me I surrounded myself with helped out with that. And I got huge love for them, and can't ever forget that. That was like a really good experience. So
for sure, it sounds amazing, and thank you for the rundown. The fact that it was done in one day, that's awesome, because I checked it out. It was on point. And I really like the point you made about, you know, being aware of your surroundings and being willing to learn from that. If you could give a piece of advice to someone looking to produce, because I know you kind of took like a dive into the deep end with this one, right? And like you had no previous producer experience. What would be like one piece of advice you'd give to someone looking to, say, become a producer for a music video?
I think like there's a lot of things that could come very helpful when it comes to producing. There's a lot of things. I'd say the number one tip for producing is to always have a calm nature and mind. So like a role as a producer that I learned is that, like I said, it's a lot of communicating. So you get to hit up a lot of people, and not everyone's going to respond on time. And then you have to like deal with like pretty much you're the guy that has to make sure that this whole thing runs smoothly and actually happens.
Wow.
But like as pressurizing as that sounds, like you can get through it. Like it was like my process of doing the whole thing is to keep like, you know, a cool, calm mind, and of course, like, you know, enjoy the process. Yeah. And always stay organized too. That's a good thing. But to get started as a producer, especially, is to just have like a good network of people that share the same passion as you. So of course, have an artist, obviously, but also have people that are also as interested as you are, but have a different role. So like if you know that you have a friend that likes to do camera work, hit her up. If you know a person that likes to do sound design, hit that person up. Likes to do set designing, wants to model, wants to do all sorts, like direct, like trust me, like you can get a lot done with even with just a group of friends. Like it's just amazing. So,
you know, I think you're a really good communicator, and I think you're really good at networking as well. I wanted to ask you, you know, maybe there's some people that are kind of shy about reaching out, or how to make that creative connection. How did you go about that during your university years, and by extension what you're doing now as well?
It's more like, think of the whole process as like a tree or like a plant. You plant the seed, basically, which is the step that I mentioned about putting yourself out there online. and then let it grow and nurture. So obviously you water and feed it, like, you know, plant food and stuff like that. That's to help you grow as a creative, both mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. And then from there, you'll start to feel more and more confident about yourself. And you find that your network starts to grow a bit more. You start talking to more people, you start linking with other people, find appreciation, et cetera, et cetera. So everyone has a different process. But other than that, for people that can't really feel comfortable with it, trust me, you'll be fine. Just put yourself out there. Like, getting out your comfort zone, a lot of people always say this, but getting out your comfort zone, like, try to push yourself out. It works out in the end. It always does. So that's basically all I gotta say for that one as well. Yeah,
that's a great analogy with the plant and watering it, you know, slowly. It takes time. It's not something that will just happen, as you said. Like, I like the fact that you said, you know, you can throw yourself out there, but sometimes you might just need the time, baby steps, and have a plan in place to eventually.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't rush the process. Don't rush the process. Basically, yeah. Don't rush. You'll be fine.
Trust it. Don't rush it. Considering you do graphic design, you've also fit the producer role as well and done that really well. How do you choose to market yourself or brand yourself? Do you think you have to choose one thing when you're putting yourself out there, or do you think it's still possible for creatives to say, you know, I've done all of this, and when they're marketing themselves to whether it's a job or other creatives?
You know, it's funny, a lot of people that like give that kind of advice, they always say stick to one thing, and it depends, honestly. Like, I say there's two routes. There's one route where I'd say focus on your craft. So whichever, like, let's say you're more into, let's say you're into graphics like me, and but you also want to do producing, or you want to do modeling or anything like that. If anything, if you do feel more cozy with it, get out with that one field first. Get yourself more in depth with that same field and push out there. And then, of course, brand what you do. So basically, you can put out on social media, you can put it on the website, you can make a portfolio of it, you can make a video of it, you can do all sorts, as long as you put it out there and then get people to see it. It's all matters. Or again, like, it doesn't really fully have to be committed to one thing. You can do everything, honestly. Like, it depends on how you market and brand yourself too, because if I wanted to do multiple things at the same time, then okay, I'm gonna try to change up how you view yourself as a creative. So what kind of creative are you? So if I wanted to do graphics, or if I wanted to do fabrication, or if I want to do new media art all in one, then I would call myself a multimedia creative. So basically, you see how I did that right there? You twist, or I wouldn't say twist, but you bend the words that you want to call yourself. Basically describe yourself in a word or two, and then go with that. So you could say, I am a marketing specialist, and literally marketing specialist can count for a lot of things. You can either do branding for music, you can do branding for video game companies, you could do all sorts like that. If I call myself a multimedia creative, that means I do multiple things in the creative field, and I go and stick with that, and then, you know, come out with that role. So that means I can do graphics, I can do producing, I can do all sorts. So like, marketing yourself and branding yourself is a very important thing. You want to get yourself out there that tells people, hey, I do this, and I go by that, and I specialize in it. So always use your words to your advantage too whenever you brand yourself too, outside from like just putting stuff out there. So
my last question for you today, Kristoff, is in general, what do you think is one key to your success in the creative industries?
I'd say my key was my environment. I mentioned environment before. Like, my environment can mean a lot of things, but my environment specifically is like the friends I made. If you're watching this right now, just know that I'm here because of you guys. Like, I like doing things myself. Yeah, cool. But like, yo, you can't get anywhere without people that also support you, you know? So yeah, it's huge shout out to them, love them and all. And like, you know, the days when I literally had one class or no classes, I'll just go see them and we hang out and literally do creative stuff. Like, Jaden will do producing, Hung will do some photo editing, Kwak would be calling somebody. I'm just doing work as well, like graphic work. Jess, Mish, Andy, same thing. Like, you know, like, yeah, it's just your environment. Vibes, that was my key, was just like my ecosystem, I would say. Not environment, ecosystem. Ecosystem is very important. Build your ecosystem. It's just like branding yourself, but you're building, I don't know, you're just building a world for yourself. Like, you know, like a Marvel universe, you know, you make your own timeline, you make your own story, Yeah, that's just like my key was my ecosystem. So absolutely loved it. I truly appreciate every single person I've met in my life, and I love them, you know. That's just basically it. So yeah,
that was awesome. Build your ecosystem. I haven't heard that before.
That's exactly. And again, or I'll just one more shout out, but like, you know, I have also a best friend that me and her, we live literally like 5 minutes away from each other, and she's a filmmaker. Like, she does filmmaking and editing. Kiana Tagabin, shout out to her. I love her. Like, we've been best friends since the 7th grade, and then it's funny enough because we journeyed from the same elementary, the same high school, the same university.
Oh wow!
And graduated together, she graduated a year after me, and then we're still doing things together. Like, from time to time, I'll PA and come on set with her and stuff like that, or, you know, and love her to bits. Like who knew? Like, my journey definitely started with her back in the 7th grade. Like, just becoming friends, and then later on best friends, and then stuff like that. Like, you never know. Like, a single thing could definitely affect the rest of your life, and always take a positive out of it, you know, move with it. Yeah. So shout out to the people I mentioned before. Shout out to my best friend, and yeah, shout out Toronto, shout out Brampton, shout out everywhere in the GTA.
Shout out the GTA.
Yeah, shout out the GTA. Shout out Canada. Come on now.
Shout out the world one time.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I love that. And sometimes it's like, you know, those people that you create with that make the creation that much better, that much more satisfying. So
yeah, exactly.
That's a great way to end off. So Kristoff, thank you so much for stopping by the virtual studio. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I know everybody is going to take a lot of good advice and good keys from it. So thank you, man.
Thank you. Honored to be on your show. I love it, man.
Hell yeah, bro. This is season 3 of Trust the Process. I'm KDD, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Trust the process.
Sweet. Now where's the stop button, yo?
I was like, oh, where's the stop button?
Space time.